Okay, assignment 1, cash flow. Here's a good solid guide which will help you with the assignment. Unit 2, basically this is part of 2 units. One's resources, which you did at the start of the year. This is the accounting part of it. And Unit 5, accounting. Both are linked. Big tips. What I'd always suggest you do is always use data from the cash flow for your letters. So let's say if there's an item or a trend in it, use some of the numbers in it. So for example, looking at the end of your balance sheet and looking at the end of your cash flow and looking at the last month's data is actually really worth putting in and sticking into your assignment. It makes it stand out. And also looking at different items, if there's stuff which jumps out at you, or trends or patterns. If you're using data, it makes it look 10 times better, and also you will get credit for it. Also try and use information from real world sources, i.e. go and research and find a grant or a bank loan. There are some links in the side of Moodle, and there's some stuff which I've kind of passed on towards you. What I'd suggest you do is use those things, and that will help you, especially when you're trying to find conclusions for D. But what we mean by real world finance is an actual loan which does actually exist, or a grant which actually exists, not something that's been made up or just talking about it generally. It's about being specific and actually finding these things. It's not that hard, because there's this thing called Google search which you can use. For your assignment, you will need to have 3 different parts. Okay, so you're going to have to upload the original cash flow. I think most people will do that in lesson, so as soon as you've done that, you'll need to upload it. The second part, you'll need to upload a letter which describes what happens on that cash flow, and to back it up, you'll also have to upload a corrected cash flow with your changes on it. And please make sure you do those 3 things, okay, and you'll get all the marks. So those are the 3 documents you'll have to upload. Okay, so you're working for Nath & Partners, who are a firm of accountants. One of your partners, Shelley Chain, who is your line manager, has given you a series of jobs to complete for your clients' firms. This is the first one of those jobs. Your first job involves Alex Smith, a local tennis coach who, having been made redundant from his previous job, wishes to invest £10,000 of his redundancy money into a new business supplying sports gear. Alex wishes to set up the business as a PLC, with himself as the only shareholder, and is planning to sell the sports equipment from a small shop unit in the high street. It is intended to sell the gear to the public for cash in shops and to the sports club on credits. Alex has supplied the attached financial information for the new business. Obviously, I can't really stick that on a PowerPoint because there's so much of it, but just have a look and look at what we've talked about in the lesson as well, because that will overview what's actually in that information and the contents of it. Now we're going to talk over the subsequent tasks which you have to do. P3. You need to produce a cash flow forecast for the month of his business ending to 31st December 2016. The cash flow must be prepared using a spreadsheet and also should be shown with formulae. What I'd suggest you do, folks, is fill in the cash flow and then upload it to turn it in as soon as you've done it. Okay, so fill in and complete the cash flow. Once it's corrected, go and upload it. Second part, you need to use that cash flow. You need to make a letter. Okay, to accompany the cash flow forecast, you need to answer the following questions that have been asked to you. P6. This is from P6 Unit 2. What does cash flow forecast do? And does it suggest that his new business will be doing well or badly in the first year? Basically, what you need to do there is say what cash flow forecast does. Remember, it has nothing to do with profit, and it is all to do with cash. So why is cash important for your business? That is a question you need to answer. But remember, cash is not profit. Cash is simply, well, you have to find out. Why do you think this? Will he have cash in the bank at the end of the year? Or will he have been overdrawn? Will things be improving or getting worse by the end of the year? Now, this is to do with your analysis of his financial state. So you need to look at that cash flow that you've produced, look at the points which the areas that he's doing well in, but more importantly, look at the 3 or 4 areas that he's doing poorly in. Identify them, write about them, say what his issues are. Think about what makes good cash flow management. So think about what makes good cash flow management. Are there any problems that his cash flow suggests he might have in his first year? Emphasize this point: data and statistics from the cash flow in your analysis to fully meet the criteria. Please do this. It's amazing how many students ignore this advice every year. D1U5. You will need to make recommendations and develop a strategy for Alex to relieve his financial problems. You should show an awareness of the consequences of poor financial planning. So, have a look at what we've looked at previously. Are there any sheets or information that we've looked at in the workbook which talk about poor financial planning? You'll need to use them. What do you recommend he does to change his plans in the first year of his business? So, sources of finance, any changes in payment. What sources of finance which Alex could use? You must use at least 3 options. For each option, you must explain an advantage and disadvantage of each source of finance. That is a P criteria for Unit 2. You must look at what the advantages are and the disadvantages are for those different sources of finance. You could look at the workbook because it does discuss them. What I would strongly suggest you do, if you want to make that better, is start researching and finding out some real world sources of finance, i.e. give me an example of a loan, give me an example of a hire purchase company, something like that, and say positives and negatives of each option. Where should you go to get additional finance where you think he needs, i.e. that's using the real world sources, so it's taking that step further, what we've just mentioned. Please could you include an extra cash flow to show these recommendations and how you improve things with your recommendations. You will need to use the data from the new cash flow in your letter to show how this improves Alex's financial situation. Basically, what I want you to do then is use the data that you've researched. So basically, use the loan. What does that do? Use the, I don't know, use the whatever. Use the other alternates that we're suggesting and put them in. Also, please remember to add the address, which is 24 to 26 Regent Street, Clifton, Bristol. Please make sure you upload the 2 cash flows and the letter to Moodle. And one final big tip, please use the workbook and also watch a video about what makes good cash flow management. That will help you in this assignment, as this is all about how do you manage your cash flow and what kind of issues do businesses have, or causes do they have which causes these things in the first place. Good luck.